Casey, thank you so much for being with us today. I know you're surrounded by beautiful flowers in your studio and you make lots of arrangements, but you said you really have loved flowers and have been influenced by flowers and gardening all your life.
It's so true. Our parents, thankfully, were always outside doing something in the garden. Even when we lived in New York City and we had our snows, you know, as soon as spring came, it was time to plant the marigolds and the zinnias, which would pop up beautifully in August. And we love to see those at the flower mart when they come in. So
I bet
always
you do.
Influenced and always.
So it's
always
in the
nice.
genes
It's in the
almost.
genes.
Really.
Yes, indeed.
Well, let's talk about how maybe in some of your classes that you teach, is this one, when I read the instructions for this, I thought it was quite interesting. It's, what is it, gather,
drop and fill. It's sort of a shortcut to a nice, simple, low, full arrangement. And so often when you are designing, you think you need to leave your stem super long, which can be such a challenge. And a lot of the containers that are out these days that are very popular are these low cubes, and they can really be a struggle to figure out how to use them.
What to do with them.
And so we have this technique we call gather, drop, and fill, where you take half of your flowers and you gather them together in your hand, just big bunch, cut them at a length that we think will work. We drop them in there, they fall open, and then we fill in with the rest of them.
Oh, the rest of them then are the fill.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, can you show us how to do it? And this is a sample of one that's been done, and it's a beautiful arrangement.
Thank you. Well, often what happens too is that people don't like see the stems. They think it's messy. And so there are some great leaves that you can do just to wrap around the inside of the vase to hide the stems.
I see now. Are these called tea?
Well, actually, tea leaves are a wonderful one, but these are apodestra. And the nice thing about tea leaves and the apodestra leaves is that they bend really easily. Some of them, if you like a banana leaf, a lot of people think they are, but the spines in a banana leaf are so tough, they would just clock back. So sometimes you have to give them a little bit of help to manipulate them so they don't snap. But these are variegated, so they pull up.
I thought that was ribbon when I first looked at it. It's so pretty.
Well, they're as beautiful as that. And you know, our big thing is about talking about don't let any greenery go below the water line. And here we're putting a giant leaf below the water line, but these don't break down like the little bitsy pieces that are on the regular stems. And so these work really well. But what we do to line our vase, and often we'll need two just to cover everything up. We'll cut away the main part of the stem. You won't really need those. And then you take your leaf and you just give it a little massage. And then you roll it and pop it right in your vase, and it will just fill itself out. It just... And then you can see on the side we're a little bit shy there, so we're going to add a little bit more. This one doesn't need any manipulating, and I'm going to put the biggest part of that leaf
to fill
on
in that lower side.
So there you have.
That's so pretty right there.
Camouflaging the hardware that you might have underneath there, whether it's just stems or something else. So it's easier to do that first before you add your water.
I bet it is.
So we get that in there, and then we pour our water in carefully. You want to go pretty high up, because once you get this arrangement in there, you're not going to want to have to worry about watering it. So about 3/4 of the way. I dripped a little bit there.
There's your paper towel.
Right. And then from here, going back to how to prep our flowers to go in. So again, they come long, actually even longer than this. You definitely don't have to keep them that long. And you definitely want to clean away your any of the greenery. So alstroemeria, very fun to clean. These are considered a spray flower because there's one stem and lots of blooms at the top spraying out, so they can give you lots of joy. And you want to buy them when they're really closed and tight, which sometimes they look kind of withery, but when they open, they open almost triple the size. So you definitely want them when they're really, really tight and fresh. And to clean alstroemeria, just slide those leaves right off, and does a good job. So that doesn't take the stem with it. Roses, however, are a little bit more sturdy on there with the leaves, and they might have thorns, so you don't really want to do that. So we just trim away our greenery that's going to be below, leaving it like this. And one mention about roses, when you're buying roses, you want to be able to look in and see all those layers, and that means it's going to open. If a rose is so tight and so closed and doubled over, it probably won't even open. It's the variety.
I would have thought the other way. That's a good point.
It's the variety, or it's just something went wrong at the grower. Carnations also, we want to always fluff them open to add a little bit of more fullness, and we want to remove the greenery, and we can just pinch these right off. Usually they'll just come off. And again, we're going to cut off most of the stem because we're not going to need them that tall. Okay? So all of our flowers are prepped, and
Now we're ready to gather.
We do. We are ready to gather. And you want to just do a mix of as you pull them together. So we're going to take in a rose and an alstro. And already looking very pretty. And color-wise, that's another thing people worry about. What colors go together? Well, everybody does a pretty good job in getting dressed and decorating their home. And just you have to apply the same thing with flowers. You think, well, yellow and white will go together nicely because anything goes nice
Almost
with white.
anything in nature.
Yeah,
you
yes,
can sort of go by that.
that's very true. And then you can just you can just put together all of your yellows. It'd be really dramatic, monochromatic arrangement. You know, or like I said, anything goes with green and anything goes with yellow. So I'm just doing a little gathering
You're
here,
just holding
them all, and I want all their heads about the same height because they're all going to help each other out here. So I've got.
Well, I've never heard of doing it this way. This is very interesting.
Thank you. So we're going to add one more alstroemeria because we'll have lots of these we're going to fill in with too. So already looks pretty, and you could just cut it off in a little taller arrangement and you'd be good to go. But we're going to make it a little bit more complicated. So as you can see, it's a little too tall.
A little too tall.
And so a way that I like to do it is bring my vase to the edge of the table and have my stems off the table. That way you're not trying to figure it out and eyeball it. So you can actually come down low and get an idea, and you want them a little bit above the lip because we want them to fall open. So I'm going to just use one as my guide, and I'm going to cut them all about the same length.
You're cutting them at an angle.
Them at
We've
an
always
angle,
heard that.
because for vase-wise, you don't want them sitting flat at the bottom of the vase. You want them on their tippy toes drinking. All right? So that might still be a little bit on the long side, so we're going to give it a test. So I'm going to drop them in there, and they're going to fall open.
Okay.
Very gently. You don't have to just nice and gently.
That already looks better than most arrangements I have ever done.
And you just scoot them around, and if you look straight down, you'll see that all of the stems are crisscrossed. That is going to lend themselves now for you to feed stems into there.
It'll hold them.
It'll hold them.
I see.
So again, kind of like that frog we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to give you a couple of alstro and a couple of carns and a few rose. And from here again, you're just going to sort of hold it up next to it and get an idea and trim long to be safe.
Kind of like cutting when you're sewing.
Yes, and then just start placing them in there. Also, not trying to place in the middle, but just on the outside. Very good. And you place them on the outside, leaning outwards.
Oh, this one's a beautiful one.
That is beautiful, because eventually when we get that last one in there, he's going to stand up in the middle. We just keep filling around. And you can go a little bit shorter initially if you'd wanted to, but I think we've got enough flowers to make this work.
Oh, I better open this one a little bit.
Lots of alstroemeria. Because the taller your flowers are, the more flowers you need to fill a vase. And the shorter your flowers are, the less flowers you need.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to add some more alstroemeria, some more roses. A little shorter with these. All around.
Oops, is that now? Is this an
That's
example?
a little too
is
tall.
that too tall?
Yeah, we're going to pull it right back out, and then you don't have all this anything in the way to pull it back out. So you just grab it, pull it out,
Yeah,
and
you
pop
didn't
it back
pull the
in
whole
again.
arrangement out.
Right, which can happen. And again, turning it around, finding a space. There you
That's
go.
important too, depending
So
on
you see what
especially
all
where you're
sizes
going
you're
to
gonna
set
go.
it.
Right.
If it's in the center of your table.
All set there. Another carnation in here. And we have another
How pretty.
rose right in the middle. I think it'll be able to be seen.
Gather, drop, and
and
fill.
fill.
And every arrangement will turn out beautiful and different.
And a little bit different. Same flowers, same concept, different personalities. You get different flowers.
Well, these are beautiful. Thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you.